Nice one. He's got that thing down too. Think he wanted that Ozark. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I want to give a big shout out to you guys out there that are using the Core Tackle Ozark Rig. The feedback has been phenomenal. I can't tell you how many times I've received direct messages or emails or just people coming up to me saying, hey, I love the Ozark Rig. Have you tried this bait on it? Or have you tried that bait on it? And I'm like, no, I have never even thought about trying it. And the reality is you guys out there come up with some great ways to use all the new baits that are on the market, and the Ozark Rig is no different. I have really found a bunch of new baits because you have recommended them to me, and I can't believe how good they work on it. So I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite tips to using the Ozark Rig, because I do get a lot of people reaching out wanting to know how to rig it, or, again, what baits to use or how to fish it. So I thought I'd do a quick video just kind of detailing it, because it really is a bait that I use all the time. If you guys have watched my tournament recap videos or my Wednesday night recap videos, you see that I'm using the Ozark Rig consistently. I've got one tied on year round now. I mean, that's how much I love it, and I rely on it consistently. So I thought I'd give you some of these tips. The first tip that I want to give you has to do with the retrieve. Now, if you watch the opening video, the fish catch video that I shared, what you see me do in that video is cast it out. I actually went to scratch my face, but at the same time, I'm really letting my bait fall all the way to the bottom. I think it is very critical that when you're using it, let the bait fall to the bottom. And one thing you need to recognize is that the Ozark Rig takes longer to get to the bottom than a traditional Texas rig. And that just has to do with the fact that the bait's falling horizontal. So instead of it falling really quickly, it's falling horizontal and it's gliding its way to the bottom. Now the key is to, one, make sure it hits the bottom. I can't tell you how critical that is. Now a lot of your bites will come on that initial fall, but once it hits the bottom, what you'll see me do is just kind of give it a little pop. I actually hit the bottom, and when I went to give it the pop, what I felt was a little pressure, and I knew I was throwing into a laydown tree. So I actually pulled it over a branch, and then I gave it a little pop. And it's that little pop of the rod tip, a little wrist snap, that is so critical, because what it does is it allows the Ozark Rig to explode off the bottom. Really similar to a crayfish skittering away or a bluegill moving quickly away. It's that's that fast motion, that explosion by the bait that generates a reaction out of the fish to eat it. They think it's getting away. So it's really critical to let your bait go to the bottom. Let it sit there for a second or two. That'll bring a lot of fish up to it, to the point where they're going to look at it. And then when you go to snap it, they suck it in as soon as they think it's getting away. It's that quick wrist snap that generates a lot of those strikes. So to me, that is one of the absolute best ways to fish it. Make sure it goes to the bottom, give it that quick pop, let it go to the bottom, give it another pop. It's not necessarily like throw it out and drag it. You can do that, but I really think it's those quick little pops that get it to kind of skitter along and make it look much more natural. And when you do that, you're getting a motion out of it that you can't get out of a traditional Texas rig. So that's just something to keep in mind. The second tip has to do with rigging. Now in this case, I have had some people reach out to me and say that they've had some issues with the bait tearing when they go in through the nose. And if you go in through the nose, which you can do, when you go to thread it up, you're going in at an angle, and that angle causes the bait to tear. I recommend not going in through the nose of the bait, but actually go in, hold your bait horizontal, and then just go in through the center at a perpendicular angle with the hook point. So that means when you go to slide it up, your bait is just sitting right over the hook shank. All you do then is you just slide it up, pop it up over your hook eye, and then you go ahead and just rig it like you would any normal Texas style bait. So in this case, you can see the bait actually is just sitting on the hook eye. That's where you want it, because then you've got your tag end of your line sticking out right here. And when you pull on it, that actually locks the bait onto your hook eye. That will prolong your baits, and at the same time, when you hook a fish, a lot of times what happens is the bait will swing free and slide up and down your line. At that point, all you do is you slide it right back over your line, and then you just go ahead and re-rig it. But it actually moves the bait out of the way, which is good because, one, that prevents the bait from balling up on the hook point, which can limit your hook sets. And two, it takes away the weight of the bait, moves it away from the fish. They have a lot less chance to use the bait as leverage to get it out of the, to shake the hook, basically. So if I re-rig this real quick, the other key I want to point out, you want to make sure that the plastic is above, if I just pull this off, is above your, what we call our bait keeper, the lead point there. And the reason for that is that's going to do two things. It's going to allow there to be a straight line or a good taper from bait to hook point, but it's really going to limit you from getting any balled up grass or anything. If you barely went through the tip of that and you end up with something more like that where the lead point is above the plastic, that could get some slime or some grass. So you want to make it as weedless as possible. So you want to make sure that you go up the plastic. I mean, it really only needs to be, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, something like that. You go up the plastic, swing it on, and you just want to make sure that you've got plastic above that hook point. The hook point you actually want kind of sticking into the bait just like that. And if you rig it that way, it's going to be as weedless as any Texas rig presentation that you use. So that is the second main tip. The third one has to do with bait choice. Now, you guys know how much I love using a beaver style bait like this Berkley Max Scent Creature Hog. They're wide, flat baits, allow for the bait really to glide through the water column. Well, one thing that we've found out, and we've also had a lot of you guys reach out to us, is that if you use it with a soft stick bait or a bigger ribbon tail worm, what a lot of people are seeing is that you get really good rocking motion out of the bait. So I'm just rigging this up onto the Ozark rig, and you're going to hook it and rig it just like any other Texas rig soft stick bait. But when this bait falls, what we're actually seeing is the bait rock side to side. So it's become a very good go-to bait for your straight tail worms, your soft stick baits, which allows you to really make a presentation with the Ozark rig in a lot of different places. Whether you want to use it on deep outside weed lines, whether you want to skip it under docks, the point here is, again, you're going to get a much different look to your soft stick baits or ribbon tail worms than you would have gotten in the past with a Texas rig. Not only does it keep it more horizontal in the water column, but now you've got rocking motion side to side. So those are three really good tips that will help you catch more fish on the Ozark rig. I think right now they've got all 6 sizes in stock at Tackle Warehouse. I'll put the link for that in the video description. We are out of stock on a couple of the sizes on our website, so you got to check around. They've really been selling really well because a lot of people are recognizing how good they are. So do your best to find them. Like I said, Tackle Warehouse has them in stock, I believe, all 6 sizes right now. But otherwise, guys, let me know what baits you are catching fish on with the Ozark rig. I'd love to hear all of your recommendations because I'm continuously trying more and more tackle, to the point I just put in a big Tackle Warehouse order with a bunch of baits I've never used before, but they were recommendations from you guys out there. So thank you again for the support of the channel. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed today's, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.